Yo, we're my movie fanatics yo, today we're going to be reacting to the most expensive movies ever made. Yo, before we do, write in the comments what is your favourite movie. Let's just get straight into this reaction and see which movies spent a lot of money but was a fail, but still was one of the most expensive movies ever made. But let's see which franchises on here that are sick and which ones are we don't agree with. So let's just get straight into the reaction. Let's go. What's at number 10? Waterworld. Never seen it.
When Waterworld hit screens in July of 1995, its unfortunate reputation preceded it. Details of the film's production had been constantly leaking to the press during its shoot near the Hawaiian Islands, and they were not encouraging. The film's already exorbitant budget of $100 million had ballooned out of control, and various mishaps specific to a large-scale production shot entirely at sea had befallen both cast and crew. Star and producer Kevin Costner was nearly killed performing a stunt in which he was furiously blasted with seawater while suspended 40
Man said he was nearly killed, you know. What the hell?
Almost plummeted to the ocean's depths when a boat they
were
on
I've seen these
decided to
characters,
fall
but I ain't
apart.
seen that film.
Even experienced stuntman Laird Hamilton became lost at sea while commuting to work on his jet ski, having to be rescued by helicopter. But the troubled shoot was
just
only
working
the
on this
beginning
film
of the
just seemed like it
film's
was a nightmare.
problems.
People needed killed, people needed lost at sea. Like, yo, forget all that.
One of those marginal pictures you're not unhappy to have seen, but can't quite recommend. Not exactly high praise for the most ambitious and expensive film production.
I'm expecting Avatar and or Marvel to be number one, obviously.
Costner's epic boondoggle checks in as the 10th most expensive film ever made, with a final budget of $172 million, equivalent to nearly $276 million in today's dollars.
John Carter. Have I seen this?
Attempts to adapt Edgar Rice Burroughs' classic Barsoom series of pulp novels failed to get off the ground for years, beginning with a proposed animated version in the early 1930s, which would have been presided over by Warner Brothers legend Bob Clampett, but failed to materialize. During the 80s, the film's rights fell to Walt Disney Studios.
Yo, Disney buys everything, but bought Marvel, bought everyone. Yo, Disney got way too much money.
Special effects technology hadn't yet come far enough to faithfully render Burroughs' vision of his Martian society, but the House of Mouse never gave up on the idea, and finally in 2012, audiences were given John Carter, based on the first novel in Burroughs' series and starring Taylor Kitsch as the titular intergalactic hero.
I'm really trying to feel like I've seen this movie or not.
Spectacularly flat with moviegoers and critics alike. Director
I must have seen it, but it must have not been memorable at all.
Thematically rich animated features Finding Nemo and WALL-E for Disney and Pixar was criticized for failing to deliver memorable characters and action sequences, and for creating an alien world that felt thin and underdeveloped. With its eye-popping budget of $263 million, about $281 million in today's money.
He's gonna say that for everyone.
Amount to a nearly $200 million loss for Disney.
Oh, imagine doing a film and you get a loss of 200 and yo, that's an L. Shout out Harry Potter. Man, like Harry Potter. Let me know which is the best Harry Potter.
Is as universally beloved as
yo, I must have a speech or pediment or something. Yo, I can't get my words out. Harry Potter, you know. Let me know in the comments which is the best Harry Potter film out of all of them. I couldn't even tell you. I'd have to literally watch them again and then let you know. But I've seen them all, but I just can't remember them off by heart to know which one's the best one.
J.K. Rowling's classic novels, with its child protagonists literally growing up before audiences' eyes throughout its 8 installments. They might have begun as precocious preteens in the debut chapter Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, but just like their characters, Daniel Radcliffe as Harry, Rupert Grint as Ron, and Emma Watson had become angsty teenagers as the series was nearing its conclusion, and the storyline had become considerably darker as well. 2009's Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, based on the 6th book in the series, tells a harrowing enough tale that it at times edges close to outright horror, featuring the shocking death of beloved Hogwarts headmaster Albus Dumbledore. The film brings its young protagonists face to face with fear and hopelessness, while setting the stage for the triumphant final act, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows.
Get it right, man, it's Harry Potter.
And like the rest of them, it was a decisive financial success, grossing nearly $1 billion at the worldwide box office.
Crazy.
It's a good thing, too. Not only is it the most expensive film in the series, it's the 8th most expensive film of all time, with an adjusted budget of $285 million.
In today's money? Ah, he didn't say it. He didn't say it. Yo, Age of Ultron.
While it's not the highest ranking film based on a Marvel property to grace our list, 2015's Avengers Age of Ultron, the sequel to Joss Whedon's epic 2012 crossover smash The Avengers, is the only film in the
Marvel just has to be the greatest franchise of all time in terms of movies.
Captured the imaginations of
nothing does it like
worldwide on the way to becoming the single highest grossing film franchise of all time. Age of Ultron finds heroes Iron Man, Captain America, the Hulk, Thor, Black Widow, and Hawkeye operating as an established team, taking down a secret Hydra base in the film's propulsive
Hail Hydra. You know what I mean?
Age of Ultron sports the largest budget of any single MCU film so far. Adjusted for inflation, the team's showdown with the sinister artificial intelligence of Ultron cost nearly $290 million to bring to the screen.
It's crazy stuff. Tangled. Is it some Disney film?
One film you probably didn't expect to see on this list, it'd be this one. Released in 2010, the animated feature Tangled is a humorous retelling of the Rapunzel fairy tale, part of a brief trend at the time of giving classic fairy tales the snarky animated update treatment.
I guess these animated films have to be a big budget though, innit? With all the like post-production and stuff that they have to do.
In the
Like,
style
look at
of a
this stuff.
classical oil painting,
That
in an
must have
attempt
a lot
to
of
bring the intuitiveness and
take a
warmth
lot of
of
money to do,
hand-drawn
man.
animation to CGI. Animating
That's
hair
weird
also
as hell,
turned out
though.
to be considerably difficult, which was a major roadblock considering that this was a Rapunzel story, and animators kept trying new techniques and software suites throughout the film's long development. In the end, Tangled proved to be a critical and financial success, earning praise for its spectacular animation and even inviting favorable comparison to Disney's classic works, while cleaning up at the worldwide box office to the tune of nearly $600 million. After marketing costs, however,
600
such a
million,
performance was
what?
necessary for Tangled to turn any profit at all. Shockingly, it's the sixth most expensive film ever made, with an adjusted budget
Ever
of a
made?
whopping $292 million.
Yo, he's done with saying today's money. I'm guessing these films are too recent for him to say today's money.
Warner
Justice
Brothers'
League.
DC Extended Universe was introduced with
Justice League was
2013's
so
Man of Steel
dead.
and was intended to
The
serve
first
as
version
longtime
anyway.
Marvel
The second
rival
version,
DC's
they did
answer
a
to
little
Marvel
better with it,
Studios'
but like the
cinematic
first one
universe.
was so dead
Unfortunately,
and
it hasn't
disappointing.
quite worked out
But
that
DC
way.
just does
DC's
not do
films
it
have
as good as
largely
Marvel
struggled to
normal.
find their footing
Just
narratively
don't.
and endured harsh assessments from critics, with the notable exception of 2017's Wonder Woman. But they have enjoyed financial success up to a point, that point being the most recent entry, Justice League. Observers might have expected the first live-action on-screen team-up of DC's
Yeah,
flagship superhero team, featuring the likes of Batman, Wonder Woman, the
It's just a B-Tech Marvel at the moment. You know what I'm saying? The Wish version of Marvel.
Justice League struggled to a mere $657 million worldwide gross, on a lavish budget of $300 million, which, with marketing and other costs considered, makes it the highest grossing flop of all time. All
Flop.
told, it's speculated
Big
by
flop.
industry insiders that Warner Brothers lost up to $100 million on the movie, and its
I
lukewarm
am
reception
surprised,
has
to be
prompted
fair.
a serious internal reappraisal of the entire series' creative direction.
Spider-Man. Spider-Man.
Along with Fox Studios' X-Men films, Sam
Spider-Man's
Raimi's
so
original
sick.
Spider-Man series went a long way toward
Yeah,
establishing
one of the best
the look,
Marvel
tone, and
characters,
storytelling conventions
best,
of the
like,
modern superhero
film
movie.
franchises
Its
of all
first two
time.
installments, released in 2002 and 2004, were met with widespread praise and boatloads of money. And for the third film in the series, Raimi planned to indulge in some fan service with a plethora of new
I
villains.
think, what happened to Spider-Man 3? I remember Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 1. Do you remember Spider-Man 3?
Critics accused it of sluggish pacing, related to its attempts to
With the
shoehorn
Venom.
in too many characters, and also noted that it lacked the humor and personality of the first two entries. Although the film performed respectably at the box office, grossing $890 million worldwide, the creative stagnation
money,
was
man.
enough for Raimi to scrap plans for a fourth installment, allowing the series to be rebooted with a new cast and crew for
Amazing
2012's
Spider-Man.
The Amazing Spider-Man. It goes to show that more money, villains, and storyline don't always translate to a terribly compelling
amount of
film.
Spider-Man
Even its
films have done,
staggering
like,
earnings
yo,
and
it's
ridiculous
just
adjusted
crazy, bro.
budget of $304 million couldn't keep Spider-Man 3 from becoming the nail in the coffin of its series.
That's what you just said, Spider-Man.
For a dozen years after its 1997
Wait.
release,
Is that a movie mistake? Is that an editing mistake I see? But this says for Spider-Man 3. I think he meant to, he just meant to show Titanic, didn't he? Yeah, mistake. I caught him out.
years after its 1997 release,
Cool.
James
Yeah.
Cameron's historical epic
Gotcha.
Titanic reigned as the all-time highest-grossing film. It was the first movie to surpass $1 billion at the box
Titanic,
office,
you know.
eventually ending up with a worldwide haul
Still
of
can't forget, yo,
$2.18
there was
billion.
so much space on that float or what was it, iceberg or whatever it was, yo. He didn't have to die, man.
The 138-day filming schedule ballooned to 160, as various cast and
filming
crew
in the
were
sea.
stricken with illnesses and infection
I'm not
from all
surprised,
the
bro.
time spent in ice-cold water. In a
Yeah.
bizarre turn of events,
Horrible
Cameron and several
conditions.
others were poisoned by an irate crew member who spiked their food with the hardcore drug PCP.
Yo, that's one crazy cast member.
Production costs soared near the unprecedented $200 million mark, and the film's runtime threatened to exceed 3 hours, which would lead to fewer screenings. Through it all, Cameron angrily refused any and all suggestions to trim expenses or scenes, and in the end, the 195-minute film ended up costing well more than $1 million per minute of screen time. Of course, the suits at Fox ended up grateful they hadn't pulled the plug when Titanic proceeded to annihilate every box office record, but they could be forgiven for sweating a little during production. The most expensive film ever made at the time, Cameron finally brought Titanic in for just over $200 million, or about $305 million in today's dollars.
Yo, there we go. We got the today's ready. Pirates of the Caribbean second.
When Pirates of the Caribbean
But
Curse of the Black
this video
Pearl was
is like
released in
3 years old
2003,
apparently, so
filmgoers were
I'm
understandably a bit
guessing
skeptical
the
about
new
a
Marvel
big-budget
movies
pirate
ain't on
adventure,
there.
which had historically not
Well, that
done
means
well
I'm
in
guessing
modern
like
Hollywood,
Avatar's
based
gonna be
on a
number one.
theme
If
park
Avatar's not
attraction,
number one,
Disneyland's
something's
iconic
wrong.
Pirates of the Caribbean ride. But director Gore Verbinski, whose success with 2002's The Ring had made him a hot property, delivered an entertaining ride. And Johnny Depp's portrayal of the wisecracking Captain Jack
crazy
Sparrow
character.
made audiences fall in love with the character overnight. The film was a surprise box office smash, meaning that sequels were in short order, with the next 2 installments, Dead Man's Chest and At World's End, being shot back-to-back. The 2 films were given separate budgets, and although the $225 million set aside for Dead Man's Chest was nothing to sneeze At World's End became the most expensive film of all time upon its release in 2007. Its $300 million budget would translate to an astonishing $354 million in today's
money.
dollars, but its reign would only last 4 years, and it would be unseated by its sequel.
Avatar number 1. Wait, what? Unless those, how is this even possible? Like, how is Avatar not even on your house? How is Star Wars and them things not on your? I'm known for a fact that there's Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, all them things, pure big fans. You're telling me none of them are in the top 10 for most expensive movies made? Maybe they're like most top 10 for most like money made, but yo, that's crazy. I thought Avatar was definitely gonna be number 1.
On Stranger Tides arrived as the first Pirates of the
shocked.
Caribbean film not to be directed by Gore Verbinski, and also absent were series regulars Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley. And while critics weren't terribly impressed, audiences were absolutely thrilled. Reviews took the film to task for serious writing problems, and the absence of Verbinski's sure-handed presence as director was noted. But Johnny Depp's charismatic presence and the film's eye-popping spectacle won over moviegoers in spite of the film's mixed reviews. On Stranger Tides shattered all kinds of box office records upon its release, and it's a good thing, because it took an absurd amount of money to bring to the screen.
Look at him, the way he's walking and shit, yo.
3D cameras similar to those used to shoot James Cameron's superior technological achievement Avatar, which incidentally is the highest grossing film ever by a wide margin.
See,
10
they
different
mentioned
visual
it,
effects
but
houses contributed to
the fact that it's not even on the top 10 for ever
1,112
made,
CGI-assisted
but it's like
scenes, and Disney pulled
number
out all
2
of the
now, I
stops
think,
to
for
ensure that On Stranger Tides
most
would be a
grossing
feast for the
films.
eyes,
Yo,
on par with Cameron's
the
reigning box
profit they
office
must have
champ.
made off
The
that
strategy
movie is
paid off.
absolutely
On
insane.
Stranger Tides raked in over $1 billion at the worldwide box office, and is currently the 25th highest grossing film of all time. But it's also by far the most expensive. Adjusted for today's dollars, it cost an unbelievable $412 million to bring to the screen.
Crazy how much it takes to make these movies, isn't it? Seems like that's it for this video, guys, but yo, I'm shocked that I know it was a couple of years ago, but at least like Infinity War, I don't know if it was made before that, but no Star Wars, no Lord of the Rings. Harry Potter was on there though, no Avatar. Like, yo, I'm shocked, but yo, that's gonna be it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, turn on your notifications, and yeah, until next time, guys, peace.